Listen, following football costs enough money already, so don't let your mobile bill mug you off. Rocket Mobile gives you unlimited everything for £16 a month. No nonsense. Powered by Vodafone and Free, plus exclusive content and prizes when you switch on over. Scan the QR code or click the link and put that cash back into football.
Marty from AFTV. I'm here with Ella after Arsenal drawing 1-1 with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. Super Sunday. Ella, run me through this game and how you saw it.
Well, from the get-go, I thought that the draw was the most likely outcome. I predicted 1-1 before the game, not to try and be negative, not to try and put this team down or what they can possibly achieve, but just because I thought it was realistic. And I think ultimately it's for a number of reasons. Firstly, because Chelsea are probably the most informed they've been all season, and they're really starting to look like a cohesive team, whereas last season didn't really look that way. But this season the team's really coming together and they have some top quality players. And secondly, away at Stamford Bridge is always a difficult game. Like, it's a London derby. The last 2 seasons we've got a draw, so this is the 3rd season in a row we've gotten 1 point from this fixture, which ultimately is a good point when you look at it, on the fixture list, getting a point away at Chelsea. But I'm sure we'll come on to speak about the context of the game, and whenever a team gets a player sent off that early on, you expect the opposition to go on and win the game, and I think that's what Arsenal fans will be frustrated with. So,
talk to me then about the context of the game.
Well, obviously Caicedo gets a red card for a horrific challenge on Mourinho, an absolute ankle breaker. And
how horrific was that?
Very horrific. And I can't believe that it didn't get given a direct card on the pitch initially by Anthony Taylor. But anyway, obviously after that red card gets given, we're kind of celebrating it because we think, oh my God, we're walking to 3 points here at Chelsea. And Chelsea come out at the second half and score a goal from a corner, and I think that shocks the team. It shocks Arsenal, and going 1-0 down, I think was really, really hurt us. And I think from that point onwards, I mean, to be fair, we didn't play our football from the get-go, and I don't think that's entirely it's entirely the team's fault. I just think it's a game where we maybe weren't allowed to play the way we wanted to, just because of the nature of the game. It was really cagey and just no one really got a foothold in the game. But I think if we're talking about it being our worst performance of the season and we managed to get a point away to Chelsea, I think that says a lot, because in reality it's not a bad point. It's frustrating that we didn't win, all things considered. But the fact that we feel like the team played poorly and we managed to come away with a point, I think it's positive. We have to try and take some positives.
So, the positives being we are 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you look at that, after this result, we've still got daylight. We've got games coming up against Brentford and Aston Villa, and you'd like to think we go and get 3 points out of those. But what do you think it is today, the real reason behind not, obviously, after the red card, not really getting the result and getting going?
I think we struggled to create chances today, and maybe that's because we didn't win the midfield battle. Or I think actually, in many cases, I think we caused our own problems, because there were a lot of loose passes, a lot of misplaced passes. We weren't really able to build up attacking sequences very well, I don't think, and ultimately that it meant that we didn't create a lot of chances. I think Saka was quite quiet, apart from obviously a good ball in and a good assist. And Martinelli didn't really do anything when he was on. Madueke came on, didn't really do anything. A lot of our attacking players were quite quiet today, and Mikel Merino, our makeshift number 9, was the most active, really. I think that says it all, really, in this game. That our attacking players just weren't really in it. So, and ultimately, Arsenal like to play that attacking style of football. And the fact that we weren't able to do that today is ultimately why we didn't get 3 points, because when you don't create chances, you're not going to score goals and win games of football. But yeah, I think it's tricky. It wasn't our best performance by any means, but whilst people will look at this and say this was an opportunity that was missed by Arsenal, all things considered, and the fact that we're trying to win this Premier League as early on as possible and just take some pressure off in the second half of the season and rally up those points. We're not going to win every game. We're not going to win every game, and we take the point. We look at the league table, and it still looks positive. It still looks in our favour at this point in the season. There's no reason why this should put us off from thinking that we are any less capable of winning a Premier League title, because I don't think that's the case.
Okay, so we've got Brentford on Wednesday night at the Emirates. It is a 7:30 kickoff. How do you see this game going, and what do we need to do differently?
I think Brentford look good. Brentford look decent, and it's not going to be easy. But the way that we've been playing at home, all you have to do is look at our last 2 home games in Bayern Munich and Spurs in all competitions, obviously, to look at how incredible we performed at home, and that fills me with a lot of positivity. I think just before going on to Brentford, obviously, when you look at this last week and the 3 fixtures that we've had to play, if you would have told me 2 wins and a draw, I would have been like, that's incredible, because it's 3 really difficult games. I would have loved a win in this game and maybe a draw in Bayern Munich, if I'm being honest, because this, like I said, with the Premier League, I really just want to wrap it up. But it's been a top week, I think. This will cause some frustration, but on to Brentford, and I think it's a game we should win. I think we need to be slightly more composed. If Saliba's out for that game as well, I think at least Hincapié and Mosquera have had a game now. They'll be able to analyse it and look at what they did well, what they didn't do well, and hopefully there'll be improvements for, was it Wednesday? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a game we should win. Villa will be tough as well, because they're in red hot form, considering the fact that they couldn't score a goal in the opening couple of weeks of the Premier League. Listen, no game this season is going to be easy, but I think we just need to look at all the positives this season, and it's a really, really long season. We can still go do it, and I think we still will go and do it, so we've got to stay positive.
Of course you have, so you said it very well. Thank you very much, Ellie. You've been a superstar. Please check out all of AFTV's other content. Please let us know in the comments what you think of Ella's assessment of the game. Be nice, as always. And please check out all of AFTV's other bits and bobs. I've been Mike. She's been Ella. This has been AFTV signing out.